Yeah, okay, mate. So banana. Yeah, I had a look through the charts, and there was not much difference. Binance obviously is the best volume. There was one that had a little bit more candles coming up here, and it dropped down or whatever, but nothing worth talking about. So I'll just stick to the Binance chart here because it's got the best volume. I mean, we can see here that there is kind of a volume support there. So, you know, we're kind of stuck in that range, currently at least. Now, the market doesn't always like to bottom like this. See this straight line down, and I mean, it is a higher low, but I'm just not a big fan of how weak it closed here. There's no volume into that weakness, you know. It's so I would suggest at this point, I think that bounces have a chance of maybe going lower again before it maybe tries to bottom. But let's keep looking at it. That's just my initial thoughts. Yeah, so the yearly as well. Like when you get a doji candle like this, you do have to watch the lower time frames for wicks down into this wick. You know, for candles down into this wick here. So, you know, if I just draw a box here just for a rough guide there, you would think it would come down into there somewhere. You know, down, so it's staying down below here. Would, you know, this is a fairly straight move down. Now, in saying that, like I was going to say, straight moves down often either create a bit of a base or create a stop under the range. You know, something like this, and then move back up. But you can see here, this was basically a straight move down the bottom of the market and move back up. But it was, you know, it did create this base that allowed the price then to go higher. You know, my favorite setup is something like this. Right? See, look at this stop hunt here. That's exactly what you'd want to see. They are the best setups because it allows you to manage your risk properly and effectively. You know, buying right here, right now is a bit of a knife catch, but if it does this and gets back above, you want to watch this place here like a hawk and look to buy just as it gets back above it. Or you can, I mean, knife catching below it if you see a signal below the line is also going to try and get you in that a little bit earlier. But because of the entire chart, because of the yearly chart, I kind of do think that this might not be a bottom, but it is interesting for sure. I would like to see this. That's what I would like to see down into the level and then move away and have a green year, because we seen there was a doji candle, and if we could then move back up, that this being the yearly wick here, pop back up and then have a green year, I mean, that would be fantastic. So that's the way I would play it, mate. I do have to say it is getting interesting down here. Like you could almost buy this right now with a very, very tight stop below it if you were trying to knife catch and trying to, well, even for a trade, for this to bounce and have a green 3-day candle. It's just a new 3-day candle today. And it's also potentially trying to flip green on the week. Sometimes after these large drops, you can get a bit of a bounce back up in here. But as we mentioned, I would like the bounce here to fail at some point and come back down and then move away. But as you can see, it is attempting to flip green here with a little bit of strength as we took liquidity below and tried to pop up. Now, if I flip to the 2-week chart, you will see that this is a red 2-week candle. So, you know, how much upside is there? How much wick is going to be created here? That's the $1 million question. But there is a possibility that there can be a bit of a larger wick than here. But this is not going to flip green or anything, you don't think, of course. Meaning that the bounce can be limited. Like even if we bounce to, you know, because, you know, even to here, that's becoming a decent wick. How much upside is that on the daily? You can see where that is. Maybe it might go a bit higher. I was a bit conservative when I drew that wick, but you know, that up to there, it could give, because this is a little inside bar. It's giving a level there. That's a 7% bounce. When I see this setup as well, I love to see. I don't know if we'll get it, but I do love to see something like this. So in the near term, if it does chop about there, if this stop hunts. Right, if that level here stop hunts here like this and pops up again, that's sometimes when it can also run. You know, so if if you didn't buy it today and then you seen the stop hunt there, for example, that is another opportunity to trade this, because this has formed that little doji here yesterday. There's a chance it could run today, right? There's a possibility. I mean, you see here, you formed a doji, two dojis really, or at least a narrow-bodied bar, and then it flipped green and you got a bit of a bounce and before rolling over again. So it might attempt something similar here. But yeah, so the weekly is trying to get some sort of bounce back up. I would expect a small candle. Like maybe something like this candle here. Right, maybe something like this candle, small little candle like that. That's what I would expect probably. There's a couple of days left. It's kind of suggesting that it may bounce into the weekend. I just want to see the monthly, because the monthly is pretty poor, but it is looking to create that monthly wick. So it is looking to try and bounce here to create a bit of a monthly wick. This is not ideal, but what you want to see in it is obviously what we talked about on the yearly. You want to see the dip down to take liquidity on the yearly before popping up. But that's not a great chart, right? So this is actually suggesting there's a chance it could, if we had a bearish period, this could actually roll over a bit, right? So you do want to see the strength. You do want to manage your risk. You want to see that yearly chart or the 6-month chart. You want to see these get bought back up again. Like you do want to see the dips and then the flip green on a new quarter, because you do want to see continuation to the downside, right? There's sometimes when you get these, this can be classified as a bad rejection in a bear market, for example. Many coins have been launched at the top of the bear market last year or 2 years ago with candles like this, and then they continued and dropped and dropped and dropped the whole way down to $3 or something. So if we were going to go into a bear market, you need to be careful. You want to see the strength. You want to see the level holding, and then if you see the level holding, well, that's when you can have more confidence that, well, we might actually have a green 6-month candle. And then you see it flipping green, of course, and you want to see it hold green and get that continued move higher. Now the market cap for banana is 135 million, which is, it's hard to tell with some of these meme coins, but it's relatively small. In theory, like a lot of these meme coins have launched at $1 billion or $500 million. Doges, billions of dollars. So if we are comparing to the other ones, this is still relatively small and might have room to run. So it probably is worth watching, especially on a new 6-month or a new 3-month. And so definitely we'll keep an eye on it. Happy Christmas, mate. I hope you're well, and let's look forward to a good 2025.